I'm Maddie.
And I'm Jenna.
And this is Behind the Treatment Table,
where faith, wellness, and real life meet. Okay. Well, we are going to hear your testimony now. And you can start whenever you're ready.
I feel like I'm a little scared because, I don't know. I'm just a little scared to, say it all and, put it all out there.
Yeah, that's okay.
I mean, I'm pretty open with everything
Yeah.
anyway. I'm just kind of it happened. What can I do about it?
Yeah.
But my voice is, really scratchy. So if my voice starts sounding weird, just ignore it. But, we can just cut all those parts out. But, okay, I don't really know where I want to start. I think I started going to church. I don't even know how old I was. Probably 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to this one church, and we moved a lot as kids. And my whole family, looking back now, know that we were just running from even when we didn't think we were running, we were running.
Yeah.
And it kind of is a generational thing in our family to kind of run from our issues. And so we moved a lot. I think I went to a total of 7 schools.
Mm.
I think it's 7. And I went to public and Christian schools. I liked going back and forth. I did. I'm glad that I got to experience both.
Yeah.
I think for the ages that I was in the different schools, it was appropriate. Or it was, I don't wish it would have switched.
Yeah.
Or But so I feel like there's just so much to go into it. Just so much. I think I was always my parents divorced when I was, I think, 4.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that. And then there was a lot of just uncertainty, and just I think I was always on high alert, and I always felt like I had to protect my mom. And I had severe separation anxiety from her growing up. I think I said in the last episode, they would have to pull me out of the car to go to school.
Yeah.
Because I just did not want to leave her. And so that was a struggle for a while until I was in 3rd grade. I liked school. It was at a Christian school, and I really liked it there. And for the first time, I felt like I belonged somewhere. And so I think just with all that, it created a lot of anxiety, and it just created a lot of just me feeling like I had to be the adult.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't really given reasons to be the adult. It's just I took on that role. And I think my sister definitely took on that role too. I was so shy as a kid. I would hide under my mom's shirt.
I was the same way.
And my sister would talk for me and just stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it all just created anxiety, and just, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I would say too that I was a very just kind of miserable kid, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I look back and I did have a good childhood, but the circumstances you were talking about, it was just I wasn't given the best cards.
Yeah.
And nothing against my family members. I think everyone's learning and growing, and everyone is everyone makes mistakes. And I feel right now in our lives, we're figuring that out and forgiving people and, whatever. But I think, and this is just the truth and how I feel, and I'm kind of scared to say this, but I wasn't given the best relationship role models. I just wasn't given your parents are madly in love growing up, raising you in church. That just wasn't my story.
Yeah.
And, that's okay. And so in my eyes, I had a lot of people in and out of my life. And I think for kids, that's traumatizing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's that. And I think I just grew up thinking that a lot of problems were for me to control.
Mm.
And My stomach's growling. I really hope you can't hear that in there. Well, um, so I think I just grew up like, I don't know. And I never really fit in at school. I never really fit in anywhere. And so this whole thing's gonna be all over the place because me telling stories is like squirrel, 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 squirrel. But yeah, going back to like when I started church, I think I was 5 or 6. I think I was in first grade. And my best friend from school went there. And like that's like the first church I remember. Um and then we left and we moved to a different area of town. And we never moved states. We just moved like around the county.
Mm.
Like into like different school districts and then like in and out of public or private schools. I don't remember. I started going to a Christian school. And I think at the same time we had started going to a different church, which I was in that church from 3rd grade to 2020, the end of 2023 is kind of when I stopped going. Um that church was a blessing and a curse at the same time. No church is perfect. I grew up, and I always tell this to anyone that goes there. I grew up just kind of in the it group. Tends to have favorites there. They tend to have like favorite families for different,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And I think when we first started going there, I got really involved in 3rd grade. I was in like the Christmas plays, I was
Yeah.
in like everything. And with favorites, it was kind of like whoever was the lead in the Christmas plays for the kids, you were like the it person.
Yeah.
And so for like the next year. So me and my best friend, I met my best friend there. And it was like Sunday nights. They didn't have like kids classes, so we would sit there in the pews playing with little horses because my best friend, their family lived on a farm. And like that was the core memory. I will say
Yeah.
like this church, I had my core memories, but I also had like my biggest heartbreaks there too.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just hard in itself for to have one place that's both.
Oh yeah.
And that's like I had a hard time leaving because I was like, but this is where I grew up. But I'm like, okay, but it doesn't suit me anymore. It just doesn't suit me anymore. And so growing up, like me and my best friend, like we can admit, I can admit that we were toxic. It's not like we as ourselves were toxic, it's just like our group.
Yeah.
And like the whole youth group has talked about this. And it's like we were toxic. Like we were like brats. Like we didn't really let anyone in. Like if you were in our
Mm.
group, you were in, and if you weren't, then like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
And so growing up, kind of like your summer camp, we went to Winterfest every year in Ocean City, and that was just like you were saying, like the greatest week of your life.
Yeah.
Like you were close to God, you were with your friends, you were staying in the same hotel as them.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just awesome. And I went every year from I think like I think it was 4th grade. From 4th grade to I think the last year I went was 2021, I believe. 2022 maybe. I kind of like in and out of my whole life, I've just had like really bad anxiety moments. And like it would get to moments where like I wouldn't leave the house. I would literally be pacing back and forth, freaking out over like nothing. And through that, I developed an autoimmune disorder and health issues, and that didn't help me either because I passed out with that. So then I was scared to go anywhere because I was scared I was going to pass out.
Yeah.
And it was just like my whole life was just anxiety
Yeah.
constantly. And I didn't really get freed from really bad anxiety until like I want to say like 2020 or like 2021 is kind of when it started like going away.
Yeah.
And like I still have anxiety some moments, but like not as bad as it was back then. Like it was bad. Like I went, yeah, it was bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the biggest part of my testimony is church hurt and then Aiden passing away.
Yeah.
And so like with the church hurt, I grew up being that it person. I wasn't anyone at school. I was that person at church.
Yeah.
And it was like anywhere my best friend was, everyone knew I was going to be there. And like you always found us together. And we had this other friend that would always be with us too. And it was just three of us, always. And then like, we started liking boys, and then the boys would come in and we'd all hang out, and it was really just like the best time to be alive, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it was so fun. And even like those guys in like the youth group, like they became my best friends too. Like we were all just so close.
Yeah.
And like some of us dated each other, but like not really.
Yeah.
And
That's how it was at church camp.
yeah.
Everyone lived in like different states, but it was like, that's my church boyfriend.
Yeah.
That's my camp boyfriend.
That's my summer boyfriend.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
But I think when it all started really changing, and obviously 2020 hit, and like we keep saying, COVID ruined everything.
Yeah.
I remember being at my best friend's house because her birthday was around the time that the news hit that COVID was going to be like this big thing. I remember sitting at her kitchen table and her mom being like, "You guys don't realize this, but like this is going to change your lives."
Yeah.
And like if I could go back to that, I'd be like, "You're dang right it was."
Mm-hmm.
Like what the heck? And so they ended up moving 9 hours away that in 2020. And that was like my only constant in my life just left.
Yeah.
That like broke me. Like it was rough. And like I had friends at school, and like I went to a public school at that time. I had left Christian schools. And so like I had other friends, and then like a year or two before that, I had a best friend at my private school, and she left for boarding school. That was in New York. So that's like probably another 9 hours away. So like I had lost like all of my friends, my close friends, like in that time period.
Yeah.
And I had never my best friend from church, she was my first best friend, like honestly. Like I never really had a friendship as close as we were. Like
Yeah.
I basically lived with them. Like I was there all the time. It was weird because she had dark hair and my mom has dark hair. But all of her siblings and her mom have blonde hair, and I had blonde hair. So it was like a joke that we just like were switched at birth, even
Yeah.
though we were a year apart. But like it was just crazy how close we were. And so when they moved, like it was a shock. Like it
Yeah.
was rough. I did go down to visit them once, and things were just changing. And we just stopped talking after that. We don't know what happened. We just stopped talking.
Yeah.
And that was really hard. And then literally 3 months later, Aiden passed away. So it was just like everything all at once just like disappeared.
Yeah.
And no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, losing friends is such a hard thing, and I didn't say it in mine, but that is a
Yeah.
big part of my testimony too.
Yeah.
Like I had friends that I thought, like, I got to a point where I was like, okay, these are my friends. I'm good with these.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna like I can count on them being here for the
Yeah.
rest of my life.
Yeah.
And something happened, and we're not friends anymore, and it's hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Yeah, it was definitely like really hard. And so like we stopped talking after that, and then yeah, and then Aiden passed away. I went and visited them in February of 2021. He passed away in April. And I remember this is where like it's gonna get really spiritual, and I feel like 2020 is really when I started getting into a relationship with God. Like I was baptized when I don't even remember. I think I was like 8 or 9 when I got baptized first. And then but it was like my parents' faith.
Yeah.
And you know that Brandon Lake song where it's like I think it's by him. It's like I don't want to have it's not just my parents' faith,
Yes.
but it's like something else. Like
Yes.
that's like the song, like that song in that time period was so real because like I had my parents' faith before that, but like 2020 was like really when I stepped into it fully. And there was a period I think in 8th grade where I got really depressed, and I felt don't remember anything from like I couldn't even tell you in like how long it was. Like I was just numb. I don't even remember going to school. I don't remember literally a single thing.
Yeah.
And so like I had experienced that, but like I came through that. And I just remember like crying out to God one night in my room, and I was just like why is this happening? Like I just want to feel something.
Yeah.
And I think that was after my grandma had passed away. And we weren't close to her though. Like they lived in Alabama my whole life, and my grandfather still lives in Florida. Like we're just it's sad, but like we're just not that close with
Yeah.
them. Like we are my other grandparents, and that literally live 3 minutes down the road now, like my dad's parents. And so it's just like okay, number one, squirrel. But see, I keep going back.
You're fine.
But so December before Aiden passed away, and like Chloe had no, there's her name. Chloe had moved, and um that whole situation. I remember in December before all that happened, I had a dream, and this is where like I don't want to say I have gifts of like dreams and stuff, but like sometimes I do, and it's weird. But I remember this other girl from Smithsburg had passed away in that time period, and I don't I wasn't close with her though. Like I didn't really know who she was, and she had passed away from suicide. And I remember like the next couple nights, like just thinking, like, what if that happened to me? And like I'm like, was God preparing me with those thoughts? Like, cause there's one of those moments where God just pops into my head. I'm like, what? What would I do? But I've realized when God gives me messages, sometimes I forget about them immediately, and it's like almost like deja vu. When something happens, I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, God told me
Yeah.
about this,
Yeah.
and like that happens to me all the time, and it's kind of like freaky. But I remember having a dream, and I don't remember who it was. But like one of my friends passed away. And I feel like in the dream it was Chloe. But maybe that was just like, like God telling me, well, friendship's gonna
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But um I just remember like having that dream of like one of my best friends is gonna pass away. And back then I didn't know to renounce. I didn't know like, that we have authority to change things.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, that's awful. Like I remember waking up like sweating, like, oh my gosh, like that's awful. Like I just hope that doesn't happen. Like whatever. And then that like January, February is like when like I've had my first like I don't like to call them suicidal thoughts. It was more like I've always kind of wanted to talk about this with someone, but like mine were more just like intrusive thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be here, but like I know I don't want to die.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in this situation. Like I don't want to feel like this. And it was kind of like death like thoughts, but it wasn't. But I knew like I was like, but I don't want to die. Like I know that's not the answer.
Yeah.
So I
I went
had
through a
them.
period of that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I had a couple of those in like January, and they were very random. Like I remember one of them was before I went snow tubing with the youth group, and I was just sitting in my room, and I was just like not feeling good, and I was like, I don't really want to go, and I had that like dooming feeling of just like whatever, and I had
Yeah.
never had them before, and like I look back now, and I'm like, because I am an empath. I keep telling myself I'm not an empath because like we have authority to like it's not healthy to be an empath. It's really not. It's like feel other
Yeah.
people's stuff. Like it's really not, but it's so hard.
It is hard.
It is hard.
I definitely am.
Yeah. And so I look back now and I'm like, was God preparing me? Or like was God telling me that like someone in my circle was struggling
Yeah.
and I didn't listen? Or like back then I didn't know to listen. Like I didn't know what I know now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I just kind of like let it slide by. And I was just like, whatever, like it's fine. And I just feel like that whole season, like I had a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of uncertainty. And I was just like, I was depressed.
Yeah.
Like, and I never really like could notice when I was depressed. Like I didn't want to say it was depression because like I didn't want to be just like another teenager, like I have depression. So, because I
Yeah.
had a couple friends that it kind of irritate me because it was just like they were speaking it out over themselves, and they're like, "Well, I'm depressed," so, and I'm like,
Okay.
I'm like,
No. Yeah.
and it was nothing judgmental. It was just like, but why are you
No.
speaking that over yourself?
Yeah.
Like
negative about it all the
yeah,
time. Yeah.
yeah. And like it's so hard to be in that situation because like you really can't help it. And I know that now. But like back then, like I said in our last episode, like I was like so like I was heartless. I was pretty just like had no emotion. Like I just like was just like frick everyone. Like
Yeah.
I was just like deal with your issues, like get over it. And so And I think that's just how I got from how I was raised. Like,
Yeah.
I was never really emotionally like comforted. Like, I was just never like, I'm not saying like my parents were bad parents, like they were really good parents, but like again, like no one was perfect. And
Yeah.
like, that's just how life is. And so I remember it was just like 2021 is when like everything changed. And the lights like keep
I
flickering.
know.
But so I don't even know the last time I told this story. But I remember laying in bed and I was on school. I think I was like, I think I was on a break from, I think I was in between classes. I think I was on lunch break. And my friend Courtney called me and she was friends with Aiden too. And she was like, Aiden Alexander passed away. And she just texted me. And I was like, I remember like sliding over the snap and I was just like, what? And I texted her and I was like, you're joking, right? And then she called me and she was like, I asked if I could go to the bathroom to call you because she was like, all the counselors are coming in asking if anyone is friends with Aiden, like, or if you know someone that's not in this class or not at school, if they're like online, like, tell us because we're gonna give them all calls.
Yeah.
And so she was like, asked if she could then go call me. And so she went to the bathroom and called me. And like, I just remember being in my bathroom because I was just like, when I got nervous, I like just had to move.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, I remember getting up from my bed and just like kind of pacing. And I was home alone. My mom had just left. And I was just like, what the heck? And I remember standing in my bathroom when she called me and I just like dropped to the floor because I was like, what the actual heck is happening right now? And I was like going to Snapchat and like seeing when the last time he Snapchatted me and like he had left me on open the night before. And I was just, thinking like, how could I, what is going on? Like my friend group at the time, like we were all texting and like my other friend, she grew up with him. They lived right across the street from each other. And we were all just like texting each other, like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
And then like a bunch of drama with that happened and mean girls and bullies and just, people I still haven't forgiven and I don't know if I probably ever will because that's just who they are. And it was funny. It wasn't funny, but me and my boyfriend were over the weekend. We're looking at my sister's like baby names, and one of the
Mm-hmm.
names was one of the girls' names that had bullied him. And I said, absolutely not. Nope, not doing it. Can't. I will never look at like. I
That
just
won't be
can't.
my niece.
Nope, I can't. I said, please don't do it. And she was like, oh, I didn't think about that. And I was like, yeah, like I just like, and I'm truly like, I will like kids can ruin names. Like when
Oh
I
yeah.
when I worked at the daycare, like there's some names where I'm like, I can't name my kid that because
Yeah.
I think of that kid. I'm like, he was a little terror. Like he
Yeah.
was awful.
That's what my brother and his wife are going through right now because my
Yeah,
brother's like in the school system and my mom's a teacher and
yeah.
they'll like I'll like say a name and they're like nope,
Nope.
and they'll like say the kid they know like first and last name, like
Yeah,
can't do that.
can't do that. Nope, not doing it. And so like it was just that was the hardest season of my life, I feel like. And I just remember like we went to the lake that weekend and like that's where I grieved the most. And like for a good like solid 2 years, like I struggled going back to the lake because it was just like that room, my room there was just like where I went through all the hardship.
Yeah.
And I never told my parents what I was going through with me, like because I knew it was of the devil and I knew I would never do it. So I was just like trying to ignore it and
Yeah.
whatever. But um, I don't really remember all of May that year. Both of my cousins got married, and I'm sorry, guys, but I don't remember a single thing of your weddings. I don't. I
Yeah.
was just so. And I remember, like, growing up, we always lived with my mom. So, like, I remember the first time I saw my dad after that, and, like, he really just, like, he hugged me, and he was just like, if you need to talk about anything, like, I just, like, at any moment, I just would start bawling at the most random times.
Yeah.
Like, I would just start crying at the most random times. And so and through that there was people that like I would turn to obviously and like talk to, and one of them was one of my best friends from youth group, and he actually dated my best friend that had moved away, and after it kind of scarred both of us when she moved.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of like we just kind of like had a trauma bond with that.
Yeah.
And so we got really close, and like we never dated. We went to homecoming, but just as friends that year. But I just think we were just like trauma bonded, so we did everything together,
Yeah.
and like I'll always be so thankful for my youth group in that area of life because like they really got me through that. Like they really did. And like it would just be like, hey, like if you need something like to do and like to not think about it, like just come over. And like
Yeah.
that summer we lived at our one friend Hope's house. And we did everything at her house and it was just so awesome and cool. But in that year we lived at the nearest creamery. We would meet there like all the time and just go on random drives and like it
Yeah.
was just a core memory.
Yeah.
But I remember in June my mom was supposed to go down to visit family in Alabama, and I wasn't supposed to go. But I remember the night before, I don't know if I've ever told my mom this, but the night before I had a really bad like suicidal, just like I call them like almost dreams because like or like daydreams because it's like I know I'm not gonna do it, but like it was just like the devil was pressing in like do it, do it, do it. And I had a really bad one, and I was like, it was like the worst one I had ever had, and I was like, if I don't go, I don't know. Like, I can't do this without my mom. Like, if my mom's like 18 hours away and like my stepdad's only here, like I wasn't close to my stepdad back then. And back then I really wasn't close with my sister either. We've just gotten close in the last couple of years. But like I was like, I just remember thinking like if I don't go, like I don't know if I'm gonna be here when my mom gets back.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad it was. And I called my mom and was like, and I was doing school online. It was literally the last week of school, and that's partially why I failed Spanish because I was just like, the teacher literally told me, which meanwhile, like she had Aiden as a student. She literally told me, "Well, you just need to go find a library or something to like have Wi-Fi or whatever." And I was like, "I'm not doing that. Like, I just lost my best friend. I'm down here visiting family, trying to save myself." Like, Loki
Yeah.
has some anger towards that teacher, and like, she all told us she was going through a divorce at the same time. So I'm like, okay, well, you have no empathy then.
Yeah.
But like I just remember like calling my mom being like, can I go? And she was like, yeah, like of course. Like my grandfather had already moved up here. He lived here for a little bit after my grandma died. So yeah, we were taking him down to like visit family and whatever. So my grandfather was with us, and that trip saved me. I'll always say that trip saved me because I got to meet my mom's cousins. We stayed with family down there that I had never met, and their grandkids were staying with them. And they were like back then they were like 4 or 5, and like I've always loved kids.
Yeah.
So like I just hung out with them the whole time, and they really just like distracted me. And like it was one of those moments where like they they have no clue how much they meant to me in that moment in life, and that's the first time I had never met or like ever met them, and like I think we're like distantly related. Like I remember like I'll probably never see them again. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it was just like so random. But yeah, I just remember like thinking like that trip literally saved me. And then I came back and for a solid like 3 weeks, I just like couldn't be alone. Like the first week my friend Sydney stayed with me. I think Courtney stayed with me for a week, and then our other friend Kayla stayed at my house for like a week, and like I just did not want to be alone.
Yeah.
Like even at night, like I did not want to be alone.
Yeah.
So, and just like the grieving process, and like I keep having scroll moments of things I wanted to say. But it was just like I don't know, that time period, and I didn't go to the funeral because I just couldn't. Like I just felt like out of control of my body. Like I just felt like, and I think the viewing did me in because it was open casket, and just it was hard seeing him like that.
Yeah.
And I remember walking into like that part of the chapel, and I was walking in with my friend Autumn, and we had Spanish with him the year before. And so we were all really close the year before. Or no, it was that year. Yeah. I like forget when I went to that school and like everything. But so I remember walking in and being like just like it was like a soul. Have you ever felt like your soul just left your body? I literally felt like when I saw him, I felt like my soul had left my body, and I was like, this isn't real. Like I was in denial. Like I was like, this isn't real. This is a dream. Like this is not real. And I just remember like walking out of that room and like being so just like disconnected from everything. And I was like that for like a solid month. And I remember on the way home, like I just had this feeling of like this isn't real. Like it can't be. Like it's not real. Like I'm in a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like being at this one specific light turning to go on the interstate and my mom was just like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I have no clue. Like I don't know even know what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
Like I just don't I have no clue what I was feeling." So I definitely struggled with that whole situation for a while. And then there's always this one song that I would listen to that he would show up, and I thought I thought it was so funny because it's so him. Because it was the song "Give Heaven Some Hell" by Hardy,
Yeah.
and every time I played that song, I could feel him there, and I was like,
Aw.
"This would be the song you would freaking show up at, you
Yeah.
brat." And so yeah, that whole summer was just like crazy, just like crazy. And then like I said, like that was the time that like I got so close with the youth group and my best friend wasn't there anymore, so we kind of created a new group.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2022 we went to Winterfest, that thing, but COVID was still happening a little bit, so the church decided just the youth group was going because usually like anyone could go. We would rent buses. We would usually have two full buses of the church and
Mm.
just go for the weekend.
Yeah.
And that year we decided just to do the intimate youth group, not invite anyone else. Because I think that year you weren't really supposed to come as a church. You could come individually, but so because we weren't really associated with the church, and that year actually someone from the church paid for our whole trip. Usually we would have to pay for something, but that year,
Yeah.
like some elders in the church paid for literally the whole trip. And so that Winterfest was the best Winterfest of our life. We all still say that
Yeah.
to the people I do still talk to. Um, you could just, and it was awesome because we actually got snowed in that weekend. Like
Mm.
all day Saturday, like the services were canceled. We only had service Friday night and Sunday morning because it was like you would go Friday, you would have a service Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday evening, and then Sunday morning, and then we would just leave right after
Yeah.
the service on Sunday. And I had gotten really close with this other girl during that time, which she was now dating the guy that I had gotten close to, went to homecoming with, and like they're actually married now.
Yeah.
But it was just like they figured out they liked each other on that trip, and like God was just so like you could just tell he was there. Like I have videos of that song. It's like I forget what it's called. Um, and I'm not singing on this podcast. Usually I'd sing it to like, but I'm not doing that. But anyway, there's this one song that was like our song that weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a very like just one of those worship songs. Like I think it was Elevation Worship, one of their songs.
Yeah.
And I remember like we just like spent, and usually on Winterfest, like guys weren't allowed to go in girls' rooms and girls weren't allowed to. Well, this trip, like rules went out the window.
Yeah.
Like you had to have a chaperone in there, but like we were playing board games and literally everyone was in one hotel room. And it wasn't a lot of us. There was probably like 20 of us that went, if that. It was like 15 of us. It was literally our intimate small group and then like our leaders.
Yeah.
And like we were all just like so close. And that was just like we bonded so much that day. And after that point, up until like a couple months, like we hung out 24/7, like just that group. And that was like the year I graduated, when that was like, or it was like the year Aiden passed away, and then the year after is when I graduated. Yeah. So like after that Winterfest, all of 2022, like that was the life to live.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
it was just so like awesome, and like you could just like feel God. And it was just like after Aiden died, like and once I got through the emotions of that, like I just realized that like if I can get through that, I can literally get through everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I got super close with his family. I still text them. I texted his mom yesterday on Easter. Like I still just like I'm not as close to them as I used to be, but like I still text them on holiday. Whoa, what was that? Still text them on holidays. And so it's just like yeah, it was just like a really like cool moment in life. And once we got to a certain point, I had graduated high school, a bunch of us had, and we just, started drifting. We just started growing up, and we weren't in high school anymore. We
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of free time. All of us had full-time jobs, and how that goes.
Yeah.
But I can say at this time in this day, me and that best friend that had moved away, we're good now. We didn't talk for a solid like 2 years, 2 or 3 years, because we don't know why.
Yeah.
But we've started talking in the last year, and like we'll never be as close as we were. But I mean, we talk now.
Yeah.
We Snapchat, whatever. But like her family just came up a couple weeks ago and went to like an Easter drama at the church, and I went because I grew up being in that play,
Yeah.
and they did too, so they always come up. So I saw them there, and it was just like old times. And
Yeah.
that's honestly, this past time was like the first time that it felt like old times
Mm-hmm.
since I've seen them, because I've seen them like on and off through the years. But and I think I just got to the point of like there was a lot of drama that happened eventually in the youth group, and it just really showed me that like I don't want to be close with them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We all grew up, we all changed. Some of us got into drinking, some of us got into weed, and like just like, and I've never smoked weed. I was just never in that.
Yeah.
I went through a little party phase the year after I graduated, realized it was just I was going through a really rough time with relationships, and I could never be alone. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Like I always had to have a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think with the youth group, it was just we grew apart.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of church hurt for a while because I don't know, there was just like so much drama that happened. And I feel like now I'm just like over it. So can't really think of the details of what happened. But like, I still talk to my major friends
Mm-hmm.
that went there. Like, I still talk to Hope and her entire family. And so, I mean, I don't really talk to anyone else on the daily. I don't even really talk to Hope on the daily. We just talk here and there.
Yeah.
It's one of those like adult friendships that like, you pick right back up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I stopped going there in like 2023, and I started dating this guy, and like we went there often. I went every Sunday that time period. But yeah, I think that's where I want to leave it at with the youth group. I just grew apart from that church, and when I went to massage school, some things happened, and that church doesn't really believe in that. And so I joked that I was shunned. I wasn't, but I just
Yeah.
know, because I know people that have had conversations with the pastor about body work and stuff. So I know they don't support it. So I don't want to go to a church that isn't going to support me in what God's calling me to do with my life.
Yeah.
Because He's not calling you, but like I just feel like people like, and this is a whole other episode I want to do of like church hurt and like, just growing up in the church and the pros and cons and
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah. So when did you switch churches? Like I know you go to one now, so
Yeah. Honestly, from 2022 to literally last fall, I was struggling with leaving.
mm-hmm.
I wasn't, it was almost like I didn't go to church really all of 2024 and 2025. I didn't really go until the fall. And it was like I don't want to go to church. I don't want to go to that church, but I can't go to another one yet.
Yeah.
Like it was just this odd thing of like of that.
Yeah.
Like it was weird.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried going back to that church multiple times, and every time I was there, it was just like anger and hurt just came up as soon as I walked in the doors, and I was like, this isn't healthy. Like I want to be able to come back here, but like I just can't. And I tried going to the youth groups, and I tried going to the young adults classes, and there was some new people there that I didn't really care for. And just how they're running it now,
Yeah.
I can't. There's a lot of popularity stuff there, and it's just like I'm just not like that.
Yeah.
And I think because like when we were little, we knew we were toxic, and we like grew out of that. It was like I don't want to go back there.
Yeah.
that'd be pulling me backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't start going to church again until last fall when I started dating my boyfriend now.
Okay.
And I had wanted to start going to church, like I really did. But I feel like I just needed like a push or like someone to go with,
Mm-hmm.
or and I did start going to this other church a little bit about a year ago, but it just wasn't, I don't know, it just never stuck. Like I never really got involved. I never
Yeah.
really, yeah.
That's how I felt when I lived in North Carolina. I tried
Mm-hmm.
a church and I just didn't feel it. It wasn't
Yeah,
it
it
wasn't
just
there.
wasn't there.
And then I went to one in Morgantown and same thing.
Yeah.
Just wasn't it.
Yeah, and I feel like I had a lot of church hurt, so I was like scared to get back into a church.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that leaving the super tight church that it was, I wanted to go to a church where I didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
And for about like 2 months when I went to that other church, it was like a mega church. And I really loved it because I went and I left. Didn't talk to anyone. I
Yeah.
just, whatever. And now I feel like I'm starting to get back into that point of like, okay, I miss that community. I do
Mm-hmm.
miss it. It's kind of scary wanting to get back into it just because of everything that happened at the old church, but like it is, like I think I'm ready. And the church we're going to now, we kind of like flip between both, but I think especially this past weekend I really realized the one church, like I think I want to, and Ben likes it too there. He likes it a lot, and his parents started going there too. And my sister actually goes there too. So it's kind of just like everyone goes there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that this past weekend, and I noticed it one other Sunday, the youth, I don't know if it's the youth group or the young adults. I don't know what their ages are, but there's this group that reminds me so much of the youth group I used to be in.
Yeah.
And it literally like makes me want to cry every time I see it because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I looked at my sister yesterday and I was like, I miss that so much. Like they're just up there praising Jesus. Like they don't care who's watching. And
Mm-hmm.
like that was us. Like
Yeah.
that was just like so awesome to be a part of. And like I miss that. And I really realized yesterday at church, I was like, I miss that. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like even more awesome because there's this guy that's in that group, and he was in I went to school with him my senior year, and he was like the class clown. I never knew him, so I can't judge him, but like, I can see a difference
Mm.
just like,
Yeah.
and it's been 4 years since we graduated.
Yeah.
And like, we had one class together, and he was just that kid that like really didn't care about his school, didn't really care about like really anything. He was always making jokes with the teacher, which isn't a bad thing, but you know.
Yeah.
But he's just like so like I can just tell, like
see it now. Yeah.
see a difference, and I was like, that's just awesome.
Yeah.
Like that's just so cool. I do want to touch on this topic because I feel like this is important for people that like do have like relationship issues, and like I know I have a one friend that like she's my gut. Like she's like a couple years younger than me, but we've known each other for a while, and like I feel like everything I went through, she's going through.
Mm-hmm.
But I always kind of struggled with like relationships, and I was like always in and out with guys, but like I had so much anxiety around relationships. Like I didn't want to get hurt, so I would like protect myself. But, like I wanted to be with them, but like, and I also had like a lot of like anxious attachments, which is like can really be really unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I always just kind of went for like the wrong guys. And my type was very like, you know, redneck country, like southern whatever. Franklin County just ain't it for that. It's not. They're all just like, they're just not it. And so like last year, I remember getting out of like a serious relationship January of 2025. And that relationship, I don't know why I was in it. I look back and I literally can think of the moment where I'm like, I don't even want to marry this dude. But yet I stayed for like 3 more months. And we didn't even date long. We only dated for like 4 or 5 months. But there was that, and I was just like, what the heck is wrong with me? Like, Maddie, what are you doing? So like all of last spring, I had this like situationship or whatever you want to call it with this one guy. I didn't want a relationship. He said he didn't either, but then like, you know, there's still that like connection of like something. And then he ended up ghosting me. But thank you for that. But um it was just kind of like that happened, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I think for the first time in my entire life I was just like, I don't want to keep doing the cycle.
Yeah.
I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely just done with the cycle. So like last like May, and like there was guys I was interested in, but I was like, you know what? Like kind of with you and Brandon, like you were interested in people, but like or him, but like it was just like God just was like, wait,
Yeah.
no, like don't pursue that or don't whatever. And so I remember just like being in that season of just like I don't really know, like, I don't really know where God wants me. I was working my other job that we had met at, and I was also like, I wasn't really doing massage full time yet. I was just kind of like, I was at a place, but I wasn't getting a lot of clients, and I was just like, I don't know where God's taking me right now. And it's my first full year out of massage school, and that season was so heavy and just like hard, and just that whole year was just so hard. And I was like, I just want to live. Like, I just want to travel. I just want to do like things that I was scared to. And for the longest time, I was so scared to do anything by myself. I wouldn't even go to Target by myself.
Yeah.
So when I was in school, like, and like going to the city, like that really like brought me out of my shell. So I feel like last year was the first year that like I wasn't scared to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And like it comes and goes sometimes, so I'm like, I don't want to
Me
go by
too.
myself.
Yeah.
But it's still just like, it's like, I don't know, just I kind of lost my train of thought. But this is everywhere. This is so bad.
It's really not.
But
Good.
I remember, so I went on a trip, I guess you can call it a work trip with our job. And the whole month of June, I traveled every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I was gone like literally every weekend. I went on that work trip, which was basically a vacation.
Can I just say that I really wanted to go on that work trip?
I know. Well, didn't they ask you first?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you couldn't go like the whole time.
Yeah. It made sense why they.
Yeah.
It made sense, but I really
like,
wanted to
just
go.
take both of us. It's only fair. And then did they even ask you to go to the second one?
Nope. I was like, okay, cool.
You still worked though that week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Both times.
Oh, really?
I was there all week.
Oh, dang. Okay. Well,
anyway, sorry.
I'm sorry you didn't get to go.
No.
But it was a lot of fun, not gonna lie. But that would have been cool if they would have taken both of us.
That would have been fun.
That would have been like, yeah. Yeah, it was fun. I feel like the second trip I definitely was like, okay, I'm ready to go home. But the first trip was like, I feel like it was just enough. Like
Yeah.
it was just enough time. And I feel like the second trip, the timing was just off because I'll get to that in a second. But I went on that trip the first week of June, and then the second weekend I went down to my cousin's, and my cousin lives like 5 hours away, and I was like, our aunt, which she's technically my second cousin, so it's like my aunt, her grandma, she had passed away in 2023. So, and we were close growing up, but she's always lived like 5 hours away, and like we wouldn't be close, like if Aunt Lisa didn't like get us together every summer, because that's just like it's confusing because she's a year older than me, but like she's my second cousin. So like her dad, my mom was 7 when her dad was born, because there's such a big age gap between like my aunts and my mom. So like she's our age, but like it's confusing to explain sometimes. Yeah. But we really got close after Aunt Lisa died, because the last thing, and that was like a whole other thing that really changed my life, was, oh my gosh, I feel like there's so much I want to talk, like, and I'm already at freaking 41 minutes. But that was just also another really big thing in my life of like my aunt dying, and like the summer of 2023 I really changed for the better. Like I just didn't like, I just prayed to God basically, and I feel like God really healed me of a lot that summer, and I just like changed who I wanted to be. Like I was less angry, like I was just like the best summer of my life. And like going through Aiden's death, and then 2 years later my aunt passing away, I say this every day to my family, and like I will continue to say it every time a family member passes, but Aiden's death prepared me for a lifetime. I wasn't like, I was sad when my aunt died because I was really close with her, but it was just like, it was so much more peaceful. And I think it's because I did get to say goodbye, and I was there when she passed away, like in the hospital. And like Aiden, like I didn't get any of that.
Yeah.
So I feel like every death after that has just been like so much more like peaceful and just like, and that's so weird to say, but like
No, I get that.
it
I get
just
it.
changed me
Yeah.
and how I cope with funerals now and like death and just everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, after Aunt Lisa had died, me and Laurel got really close. And so, just in the past year, I go down there at least like once a month. Like, it's so fun down there too because, like, growing up, like, I feel like I've always just had like that southern part in me because,
Mm-hmm.
like, my mom's side's from like the south, and like, it's just so fun. Like, it's just so fun.
Yeah.
So, like, the second week I went down there, third week I was in New Jersey for a family friend's graduation party. And then the next week I was in Ocean City with the salon girls.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like I was gone literally every week and
Yeah.
I was single the entire time. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like it was so like I don't know. It was just like that's the first time honestly in my entire life that I was just single and was just like, you know what, like just living life.
Yeah.
And it was so fun. And then I got back from all that and I think it was like the I think it was like end of May. I did like a stranger session, like photo shoot,
Oh
because
yeah.
my friend that does photography wanted to do one, and she was like, "Will you do it?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." And so like me and that guy talked for like 2 days, and I was like, "That's not it."
Mm.
But her fiance actually said something that like opened my eyes so much. And it's one of those things where like you've been told it before, but like that time it stuck with you.
Yeah.
And I remember a year ago before that, my mentor with massage told me, because I was like having issues with guys or whatever, and I was just like talking to her a little bit about it, and she told me, she was like, okay, if you don't like what you're getting, change your type.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like what you're getting, then like change it. Because like he's not gonna change. If you don't like how these country men are treating you, change what you look for.
Yeah.
So I remember like that popped in my head, and Kinsley's fiance after the stranger shoot, because it was like one of his friends that was the guy that I did it with.
Mm-hmm.
So we all went to go get like I think we ate at Texas Roadhouse and I went to get ice cream. And like this guy was cute, but like I don't know, he just like I don't know, I just wasn't
Just
feeling
didn't
it.
click it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just did not click. And I remember being in the truck and Dylan, Kinsley's fiance, being like, what do you look for in a guy, Maddie? Like, let's just like feel this out. Like they were being like our therapist. Like they were like putting us like being Cupid.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. Like I don't want anyone that drinks really, because drinking, like my ex was an alcoholic and like will never get screamed at again when I went to pick him up from. I'm gonna drop this because you know what happened. I'm never gonna go pick him up at his ex's dad's house completely blacked out.
No way.
Yeah. So, and I'm not gonna get screamed at on the way home about how I'm a B word and like it's my fault. And yeah. So I was like, I just don't really want anyone that drinks. Like that traumatized me. Like I was like, nope, not doing it. And then I was like, I don't really want anyone that vapes. Like he needs to be a Christian. Like whatever. Dylan looks at me and he goes, Maddie, you're never going to find all of those characteristics in a country dude. I don't know why, but that clicked in my head and I was like, you know, you're right. You were absolutely right. And I told Kinsley that like after we talked and I was like, what Dylan said really just like clicked with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like in that moment, it was just everything changed for me. And so that happened in like May or something like that. And then June happened. July, I started talking to this guy. He was shorter than me.
No.
I'm only 5'5". And I haven't blocked on everything, so I don't even care if he sees this. He probably won't. He probably won't even know. And he, let's just say, we hung out a few times. He actually knew Kinsley and Dylan was like, because I think I was with my other friend, and I ran into Dylan at Texas Roadhouse like in like early July, and like Dylan was like, why did you text that dude? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't know. But I was like, oh, I'm talking to someone else now. Like, that just didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, who? And I was like, he's from like around here. And he was like, okay, but who? And I said the name. He goes, Maddie. He is a jerk. And I was like, no, like it's fine. Like, no, he's not. And I hadn't even like went on a first date with him yet. So like, and I don't like taking opinions from other people. Like, I like to find out for myself because like I had just met Dylan. Like, that was the first time I had met him when I like we did the stranger shoot. So and like he's a great dude and like I trust him, but like I don't know, it was just I have to find out for myself.
Yeah.
And so Dylan was just like, no, don't do it. Like, stop. Like, he's short, Maddie. And I was like, I don't think he's that short. And I was like, okay, but like how short? And he was like, probably about here to you. And I was like, no. And he was like, okay, that might be a little bit dramatic. He was like, to be honest, like he's probably shorter than you, but like not by much, but like still. And I was like, well, we'll just see how it goes. And he was like, okay. And turns out the guy that I did the stranger shoot had beef or like drama with this dude. And like they did not like each other at all. And I was like, this is my luck. This is my luck. Like this is just this is something I would do. And so I started hanging out with this dude. We hung out for like 2 weeks. Moral of the story, it was just like bad. And after that week, I was like, I can never trust a man again. Like, these men are awful out here. Like, I'm never trusting anyone again. This is awful. You're done. I'm done. Staying single for the rest of my life until a guy literally, I don't even know. And then on my birthday, little Benjamin Farmer entered the chat. And Ben, I don't think it's only the second or third episode. So yeah. So my boyfriend, we've known each other since 3rd grade. So we went to a Christian school together. We were in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade together. And then I left the school, but he then started going to my church in 7th grade. And then we hung out a few times, just like as friends, whatever. Went to his birthday party that year. And then they ended up leaving the church. But I think it was right before they left the church. We went on, it was like a group hangout, but like we went to the movies. He held my hand. I thought he liked me. And then he was like, I was just trying to feel it out. And I was like, you're a brat. See ya. And then they left the church. COVID happened. I hadn't talked to him in years. And started from there, and now we've been dating for almost 7 months.
Yeah.
So it's like just crazy. Like I thought about this too. It was like, because my friend Hope's dad, Chuck, I was in this one relationship where like I would go to church almost every Sunday just crying like to her dad and he was like, he knew the guy worked with the dude, and he was like, Maddie, like he's not a great dude, like it's not a great situation, like it will come when you least expect it. And like that just ran through my head in that situation, because I'm like, truly, when I gave up relationships, when I was like, I can never trust anyone again, that's when probably the only person I trust with my full heart and like has never doubted me, never like given me a reason to not trust him, walked in the chat.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's crazy.
And it like happened that fast.
Yeah.
Like within a week. And I remember even when I started like talking to Ben, I was like, okay, well, it's like, is this a pattern? Is this like, what is this? And it's just like, no, it's not a pattern. It was just different.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for watching.
See you next week on Behind the Treatment Table.
Cut.
Tell about the healer. Greater is the one within, and call him as the leader. Teach her how to hold a pretty hand up to the sky, and never wait upon the giver. He'll deliver like a dealer. To take her